So here we have a function that is using a mongoose model to retrieve all the users from a users collection. And it's wrapped around this higher level function that is a little more specific to our domain, which is all users. So let's expose this through a controller, a really simple controller that is going to allow us to interact with the database using a RESTful service. So let's create in the controllers. Let's create a brand new controller. Right, we're going to call it users.controller.server.js. In here, we're going to implement a getter. Right, we're going to receive a request for all users in an HTTP GET, and we're going to respond with all the users. So we'll need to bring that DAO. So let's bring the users DAO. We'll require that. So we're going to go up and then down to DAOs and then head over to users DAO. There we go. Once we have the DAO, right, we want to respond to a GET operation, right? So it'll be a GET operation, and the URL following RESTful conventions, it'll be something like /API/users, right? And once that comes in, we would like to be able to fetch using users DAO. We would like to be able to find all the users, and when the users come back, right, we're going to say then presumably the users would come here. So these would be all users, right? And what we would like to be able to do is somehow send that back as a response to this GET. All right. All right. So we know how to do that, right? We can just use the Node.js request response API that is available through the Express, right? And as we know, that's going to be, we are going to be encapsulated inside of a function. An app is going to be passed to us, so something like module.exports, and so somebody's going to pass us the Express instance, and then inside of that Express instance, right, we can use it to implement the GET, right? So that we can listen in for that incoming request, and then implement a function to handle this, right, which is going to receive a request and response, which we can then use to then go out to the DAO, find all the users, and then when we have all the users, we can send it back in the response. We can send back all users. Okay. Once we have that, we've exported this already. We can link it to, let's see, do we have an errors here? Any other errors messages? Any other syntax? Okay, so we don't have a return here, so yeah, exactly like that. We don't need the curly brackets. Oh, sorry, so let's link this controller. Request response. Are we missing a parentheses? Maybe we need another parentheses. There we go. Okay, let's link this controller with our server. So in our server, we just need to require that controller. All right, so we're going to go down to the controllers and go fetch our new users controller, and we're going to pass it an instance of the app Express instance. If we restart this, let's see, res. Okay, well, it looks like we use the same. We meant this to be request response, right? So let's run that again. Okay, let's try it out. If we head over to our favorite browser, we can say localhost 3000 API/users, and there we are, right? So we have those 3 users that were in the database: Alice, Bob, and Charlie. We can validate that indeed those are the 3 users that we have there. There we are. So Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Perfect, right? So we have now exposed a data that is stored in a Mongo database. We've exposed this through a RESTful API that now either a React or an Angular application can use to integrate and retrieve and interact with this RESTful API, and backed by a data-driven Mongo DB.